Hey, this is Trail Traveler, and today we're installing some Auxbeam cube lights on our JL Unlimited Rubicon. Stay right there. We'll be right back. Now, I don't want to bore you with a real lengthy install video because honestly, there isn't a whole lot to installing some lights on a Rubicon. Now, if you have a Wrangler or a Sahara or a Sport, then there's going to be a little bit more work to it because you need to install some switches. Now, I do like the Mopar auxiliary switches, and I'll show you those right here. So those come standard in a Rubicon, but they're extra on anything else. It's going to run about $350 for the kit, and then installation, not so fun. But let's take a look under the hood and see what we have going on. What we did is we took the wiring from the light, kind of stuffed it underneath those guides over there, tied it into the second light, and all the magic then happens right here in this wiring harness. So as part of the auxiliary switch kit, these wires are here. There's also a set under the dash if you want to do some internal lights. And what you'll see is there's two thin wires and two thick wires. The thick wires, I don't remember the color coding right off the top, but the two thick ones go to aux 1 and 2, and they have 45 amps circuit breakers on them, or fuses. And the two small ones go to switches 3 and 4, and they have 15 amp fuses. And a 15 amp fuse is plenty for some lights. You'd need a 40 if you were putting a winch or a heavy duty compressor, something like that. You might want to go with those. So we run the positive to one of those, pretty simple. And then we run the ground right here with a little spade. Once you have that done, then it's just a simple matter of going into the Uconnect and setting it up. Okay, I'm on the Uconnect here, and I'm going to go to Apps, and then I'm going to find Settings, and we'll scroll down to, did I already pass it here? Aux switches right here. Oh, we've got to turn it to run. I didn't mean to start it. I just want to go to run. Okay, we'll go back into settings. We'll go down to our aux switches, and here we have the 4 switches. So I'm going to go to switch 1, and you can see you can set them for latching or momentary. Latching means you flip it and it stays on, you flip it and it turns off. Momentary is only on while you hold it, which could be good for like a horn or something like that. Power source, do I want it only when, whenever the battery is, if there's battery power, basically at any time. And ignition, which will only give it power when the engine's running. And then recalled last state. So that way, if you turn the engine off, when you turn it back on, it'll come back to that same state. Now, we have the switches or the lights on switch 4. So I have them on latching, on ignition, and recalled last state. So the reason I have them on ignition is I really don't want those lights running on just battery power. I could, but there's really no reason to. Once I turn the Jeep off, then I want the lights to turn off. So putting them on ignition was the way to go for me. Let's take a look at how they look. Okay, so here's the Jeep with them off. Pretty basic, you can just barely see them there in the corners of the window. And here's with the lights on. They do put out quite a bit of light, no question about that. They're pretty nice. So the question is, why did I go with Auxbeam instead of Rugged or some other big brand for the lights? Well, it's simple. I'm cheap. And I had a buddy who already had them, and he sold them to me for 20 bucks. So I actually paid more for the rough country mounts than I did for the lights. I only paid 20 bucks for the lights. I paid 40 something for those mounts. Let's take a closer look at those mounts. So here you see the mounts, and what you do is you take out the original bolts that go in here. Those come out, you put the mount on, and then it comes with spacers and a washer for underneath. You have a silver spacer that goes on the bottom, or I mean a silver washer that goes on the bottom, the black spacer that goes there, the mount, a black washer, and the bolt that goes in. So very, very simple install, and you can mount these in different ways. So I've tried them a couple different orientations with the lights further out front than the lights further back. I kind of like them closer to the back. It just feels a little more tucked in, and out in front, you know, it was nicer because I could, you know, kind of get them away from the window a little bit and maybe off to the side a little bit more, but you're only talking about 3 inches difference. So really wasn't a big deal. So I decided to keep them up closer to the window. Here's a good view of them. Now these Auxbeam lights are available on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below. They're pretty cheap, but you know, a lot of people complain that over time that this outer cover can start to yellow, and maybe they don't have as tight of a beam as something else. But if you're on a budget and you're trying to save some money, they work and they put out light. And if you're trying to drive off-road, they're going to do a decent job. You can spend more money, you can get better quality, maybe they'll last longer, but if these things last you for, you know, a year or 2 years, well, you've definitely saved some money even replacing them every couple years versus buying $100, $150 lights. So that's my first lighting setup here on good old Papa Smurf, the JL Unlimited Rubicon. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you want to see more install videos, be sure and let me know. Put a comment down, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you on the trails. Be safe out there. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.